Welcome. This is chapter 5, I believe, I'm pretty sure, with Proverbs. So welcome to the InstaLIVE Bible sessions. Sorry it's a bit late, this one. It is actually 17 past 8. It's supposed to be, obviously, 8 o'clock that I do these ones. But, yeah, that didn't happen tonight because I got held back at work. So, yeah, tonight is a little bit late, but that's okay. I'll see if my pen is actually working, because last time I don't think it was on last time. How you going? Welcome. Welcome everyone that's to the live. I'm going to actually sing a little bit of a faster song this time rather than a slower one. Usually for the past 4 sessions I've done a slow one, so today would be a fast one. But first I'm just going to pray for this session to be according to God's plan. So, dear Lord Jesus, thank you for us being here today. Thank you for allowing me to be with my friends on Instagram here live, and also thank you for the ones that are going to watch this later and the ones that are going to watch it on YouTube later. I just want to thank you for the ability to share your word, Lord Jesus, and to bless your name and lift your name in Jesus' name. Amen. All right. So this song is called Nothing is Impossible, sorry. That gives me strength. Nothing is impossible, 'cause through you blind eyes are open, strong hearts are broken. I am living by faith. Nothing is impossible, 'cause I believe in you. 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 Oh, I believe in you. 'Cause through you I can do anything. I can do all things, 'cause it's you that gives me strength. Nothing is impossible, 'cause through you blind eyes are open, strong hearts are broken. I am living by faith. Nothing is impossible. Well, thank you very much for listening to me sing. How you all doing? Welcome to those that have just joined. Alright, so I didn't get a chance to read this before starting the live. Like I said, I was stuck at work late behind. I got home and I had to do some things before starting, so I will be rereading this as we go along. So here we go. There it is. Again, I'll be reading from the New Living Translation, just so it's easier to understand, and sometimes might be referring back to the New King James Version, which I think I might change back to the King James Version. I've also got a knot in the back of my neck, so I'm going to be massaging that out a little bit every now and then. Proverbs chapter 5. It is chapter 5, isn't it? How awkward, I'm pretty sure it's chapter 5. Please let me know if it's chapter 5. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's chapter 6. Let's have a look. What was this one? No. It is chapter 5. Okay. Chapter 5. Oh, how you going, Cor? Oh. Everything's going good. How are you? Exco merchandise. Okay, good. Chapter 5. Thanks, Brett. Alright. Avoid immoral women is the heading of this chapter. You could also say avoid immoral men as well if you're a woman reading this. So, It's obviously a father to their son that's talking, so you'll see that as it goes along. My son, pay attention to my wisdom. Listen carefully to my wise counsel. Then you will show discernment, and your lips will express what you've learned. For the lips of an immoral woman are as sweet as honey, and her mouth is smoother than oil. But in the end, she is as bitter as poison, as dangerous as a double-edged sword. Her feet go down to death, her steps lead straight to the grave, for she cares nothing about the path to life. She staggers down a crooked trail and doesn't realize it. So again, you can take this as you can read it if you're a woman. Translate it to immoral man. The immoral man is as sweet as honey, and his mouth is smoother than oil. And it's just on the concept of obviously immorality. A person that doesn't have strong morals, and if they influence you to do things that are not morally correct or morally right, so to speak, then you will obviously be led along a path that is not that great. It's going to be a lot of suffering, a lot more suffering than what we're probably dealing with at the moment in life. But yeah, there'll be obviously a lot more suffering if you're led down a path of immorality and not trying your best to be morally right and trying to be the best version of yourself. Welcome everyone, welcome. Verse 7, sorry. So now, my sons, listen to me. Never stray from what I am about to say. Stay away from her, the immoral woman. Don't go near the door of her house. If you do, you will lose your honor and will lose to merciless people all you have achieved. Hello. Strangers will consume your wealth, and someone else will enjoy the fruit of your labor. In the end, you will groan in anguish when disease consumes your body. You will say, "How I hated discipline! If only I had not ignored all the warnings. Oh, why didn't I listen to my teachers? Why didn't I pay attention to my instructors? I have come to the brink of utter ruin, and now I must face public disgrace." So this little section here is actually echoing what wisdom, personified as a female, talks about in, I think, chapter 2 that we discussed about, either chapter 1 or chapter 2. How she would say that, if you do not heed my warnings, if you don't listen to my advice, you will be on a path where you can't get out of it. When it says, you will lose to merciless people all you have achieved. Everything you've achieved will just become crumbling down. And you see that all the time, especially with, famous people. They might do some, for example, this is a great example at the moment, Novak, whatever his name is, the tennis player. The amount of good that he's done in the sense of donating money to so many countries, especially our country. And then he's done this one thing that the media lied about, wrong. And straight away he was stripped of his credibility, his reputation, especially to Australians, and possibly worldwide, we don't know. But because there was misinformation that was let out and that something had gone wrong with his papers, even though later on when the court and the judge said, or whoever Mr. Hawke is, or whoever Hawke is, he said that there's nothing wrong with his papers, everything is fine, but we're still not allowing him in the country because of his opinions on the matter of obviously the mandates and vaccinations and stuff like that. Sorry, just disconnected for a second there. But because of this one misinformation where the media just jumped on and said, oh, he lied on his visa or he lied on his papers or whatever, when he probably didn't, because if the judge said that nothing was wrong with his paperwork, everything was fine, in court. If he said that in court, then obviously nothing was wrong, and the media probably just jumped on one little lie, one little rumor, and made a big blow up about it just so everyone could hate him. And this is how merciless people can become. Everything you've achieved in life just becomes stripped because people are quick to judge and quick to jump on board on that train where it's just the train of abolishment or shaming, etc. Strangers will consume your wealth, and someone else will enjoy the fruit of your labor. So it's in this context, it's echoing what the wisdom was saying. If you don't listen to my advice, if you don't heed my warnings, everyone else is going to enjoy your wealth. Everyone else is going to enjoy your money, and you're not going to be able to. And in the end, you will groan in anguish. So this is just an echo of what wisdom was saying at the very beginning of the book. Continuing on, verse 15. Drink water from your own well. Share your love only with your wife. Why spill the water of your springs in the streets, having sex with just anyone? You should reserve it for yourselves. Never share it with strangers. Let your wife be a fountain of blessing for you. Rejoice in the wife of your youth. She is a loving deer, a graceful doe. Let her breast satisfy you always. May you always be captivated by her love. Now, this is obviously specifically talking now about immoral sex. Immoral. Pretty much anything that's, because it's the whole context of you should save your sex for only your marriage, and anything that's any sex that's outside of the marriage, and when you're not married, then obviously it's immoral. And they're saying it's best to reserve, your sexuality or your sexual desires or whatever for that person that you're going to marry, because then you're in a binded contract with God where you're promised to be with that person at all times, always loving each other, and that your bond will be much stronger if you save that sex for someone. Because if you just, and scientists have also, in a sense, done studies on this as well, is where you feel like and a lot of psychologists have been writing on this as well, is that each time that you give yourself away to someone, each time that you do have sex with someone, you do create little ties with them, and you leave a peace with them, so you feel a little bit lost for yourself, and you become numb of who you are, and not knowing exactly where you stand with your morals and your boundaries, etc. So you're losing yourself a little bit each time you go and have sex with someone, a stranger, or someone that you're not in marriage with. So it's saying here, keep your sexual relationship only with your soul partner, your soul spouse, the one that you're marrying. In verse 20, why be captivated, my son, by an immoral woman, or fondle the breasts of a promiscuous woman? For the Lord sees clearly what a man does, examining every path he takes. An evil man is held captive by his own sins. They are ropes that catch and hold him. He will die for lack of self-control. He will be lost because of his great foolishness. So this is saying that a lot of people in the world are like, well, I don't want to be a slave to a God that has so many rules, or that has so many commandments, and that we have to obey them just for him to love us, when it's actually, you can see it that way if you really want to, but then how much of a slave are you to your bodily desires? How much are you a slave to, people a lot of the time think that I will just give in to a donut when it's handed to me. But if I've made a promise to myself that I'm not going to eat a donut that day, then I won't eat the donut, no matter if it's in front of me. It doesn't tempt me so much to eat it. I'll be like, oh, that's a good looking donut. Yeah, I'd like to eat it, but I've already made a promise to myself that I'm not going to eat it. And in a sense, it's the same thing. If you can't practice self-control, or you can't practice, in a sense, self-control of your desires, then you're a slave to that thing. If I didn't have self-control of that donut, then the donut or my cravings, my diet, can't think of the right word. I'll be a slave to in a sense, my stomach or my eating desires, so to speak. My taste buds will be my master. It's in the same thing. The things that you love the most or that you desire become your detriment and your destruction, so to speak. It will destroy you because then you won't have any self-control. And it comes down then, you can see it in addicts. Unfortunately, they get to a stage where they're so reliant on this drug that they'll do anything. And when I was working in Southern Youth and Family Services, I used to talk to obviously a lot of young people that do have drug addictions, and they would get to a stage where they would sell anything to get money to buy more drugs, and the drug would eventually be their master, and they'll be a slave to that drug. So unfortunately, it can get to that stage, and we have to be really cautious and self-conscious of what we're actually becoming a slave to. It could be work. If you're desiring a lot of money and you're deciding to work overtime, extra time, and you're not making time for yourself, or you're not making time for your friends or family, then you're becoming a slave in a sense to money or earning money. Same with, you could be a slave to success, or the appearance of success, where you've got to constantly put pictures up of on your Instagram or your Facebook or your social medias of you being successful and showing that you are making it in the world. So you could be a slave to that persona or that portrayal of your life. What are you a slave to, or what? And in a sense, we're all a slave to something. And I guess myself specifically, I'm trying my best to be not a slave, so to speak, to God, because He's not demanding in a way out of a totalitarian sort of concept. It's out of a loving. It's like, I would prefer you to do this because it's good for you. So I'm trying my best to serve Him by doing what He's asked me to do. And that's to follow the wisdom of this book in Proverbs. So as best I can. Sometimes I do trip up. We all trip up. We all have our days where nothing's going right, or it seems like nothing's going right, or we choose the wrong choice because we do lack self-control sometimes. And that's part of the growing experience, is that we learn from those experiences. We've tripped up, we've done a mistake, we've said something wrong, we've done something wrong, our attitudes were wrong, and it's just taking a step back and going, okay, that was not the best idea or the best thing to say or the best thing to do or the best attitude to have. How can I learn from it? How can I change and grow from it, so the next time it's going to be, I'll have self-control and I'll be able to perform better, do better, say better, etc. And, have an attitude of, how am I going to build the people around me rather than tear them down as best we can. So, and I think along the lines like this whole, especially in today's culture, it's all about, the Tinder swipe right or swipe left. It's all this instant gratification, and it's all based on looks, not about personality or anything. So you're straight away jumping into a very intimate, very, very close, naked, vulnerable, intimate relationship, going straight to the sex, and you're missing out on all the beauty of getting to know the person first. And then when you've had sex, you've just made yourself vulnerable. So you've left a piece of yourself with them, like you've given a piece of yourself to them. And people will say, oh no, it's just no strings attached, or there's no emotions tied. And it's just like, well, unfortunately the studies are saying that there are still emotions tied to it. and that could be even spiritually or mentally, like there's still that peace you're giving them, and you're becoming more numb to seeing people as people, and loving people for people as they are. They're they're a child, they're a sibling, they're a friend to someone, they're a work colleague. Their worth is more than just their looks and how they perform in bed. And unfortunately, I feel, well, even if you are in a sense just constantly seeking out relationships just because of the sex and wanting to have a good time at night, you're basing that person's worth on their performance in the bed and their looks, because you look at them and you're like, oh yeah, I want to be with that person tonight. I want to tap that, so to speak. And straight away you're diminishing their worth from a person to something that you can get something out of. And that selfish desire to be like, what can I get out of you? Rather than, what can I give to you? What can I build or give to that person that they can build from, rather than what can I take? Unfortunately, that's just this hard society. And back in those days, like, this was written probably 2,500 years ago, and to this day it's still in a sense prominent. People are just seeking out quick, instant sex relationships and then walking away. But really that's destructive for your mentality, your emotions, spirituality, and in a sense that all those three obviously affect the physical. So they all play a part in that one simple act. Anyway, bit of a tough one today, and it just gets, what I love about Proverbs is that it gets tougher, it goes deeper. It challenges you a whole lot more. It challenges your values, it challenges your beliefs, and you have to really think, am I making the wise choice? And it's not just you that's being affected, it's the other person involved that is also being affected. And just like every ripple effect or domino effect, it's affecting those people that they are close with. And word always gets around, especially if it's in a small community. Even if it's in a big community, word still gets around. And the next thing you know, if you've slept with that person and you find out that they've slept with 3 other people, then it's like, oh, I just slept with those 3 other people as well, because like that ad ages ago was like, how many people did you sleep with? Of, the risk of getting sexual transmitted diseases. Anyway, tough one, but I hope you enjoyed that. But we'll go to Adrian's Instagram, and we'll read the 5th one of the 52 things. I have to scroll down like a lot because he posts a lot, obviously. Here we go. Alright, number 5. It's always the right time to do the right thing. I think that's true. When you get that feeling of what the right thing is to do, then that is the right time to do that right thing. Sometimes you sit there and you go, oh, I know that's the right thing, but I'm going to do the wrong thing. But the minute that you make that very unwise choice to do the wrong thing, it ends up being obviously the wrong time to do that wrong thing. Well, and whenever you do the wrong thing, it's always going to be the wrong timing anyway, because it's not going to fall in your favor, unfortunately. Fortunately not. So that's a good one to think about. It's always the right time to do the right thing. Always the right time to do the right thing. So do the right thing today. And let someone know that you're grateful for them. I'm grateful for you guys watching. Thank you very much for watching. All right. Well, thank you for listening. Hope you had a wonderful day, and hopefully you have a wonderful night. I am now going to go cook my dinner. And yeah, have a wonderful day. Hopefully you have a wonderful day tomorrow and the rest of the week, and I shall see you next week. Good night and king up.